and welcome to Razz Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Directed by James Gunn, this sequel to the very popular first film deals with the relationships of the team members and their feelings about each other. And it's also about Peter Quill figuring out his relationship with his father and understanding the secrets of his lineage. So all in all, family is a big theme here. I loved the first Guardians of the Galaxy and I loved the trailers for this movie. I was so excited, I saw these trailers like 100 times. However, some early reviews came out that were a little mixed, which made me a little worried going into this film, but I was still super hyped and I was so excited to see it. And the important questions are, is it a good sequel? Yes! Is it better than the first one? No. But even though the first movie is a better, more focused film, this is actually a great sequel and I found it very enjoyable. So let me tell you about the things that I enjoyed when we talk about the top 3 things that I liked about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The number 3 thing that I liked is the visuals. This movie, as well as all other Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, is pretty much eye candy. The cinematography is great, the colors are great, the CGI is okay, but however the production design and the settings of the different areas and planets and spaceships was really amazing. There are some awesome fight scenes in this movie. Oh my God! Definitely a lot of rewatch material for me. I'm gonna be rewatching these fight scenes over and over in the next couple of months. It's gonna be great. The number 2 thing I liked about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was Yondu. I know! Who cares about Yondu? Well, apparently, now I do. Yondu was the surprise hit of this movie for me. He completely stole the show. I don't even know how. He beat out Rocket. He beat out Drax. Oh my God, he beat out Baby Groot. How's that possible? I don't know, but they developed this character really well in this film. He had some amazing emotional beats and some really cool badass moments and fight scenes. I enjoyed Yondu in every scene he was in and he added to the movie and he completely stole the spotlight from some of the favorite characters, which is mind-blowing for me. I don't know how it happened, but it did. Yondu. The number 1 thing I liked about Guardians of the Galaxy was the character development. Speaking of characters, all the characters had great development in this movie. We learned more about every single one, and each one of them seemed to be more layered than they were in the previous film. So everybody got developed. You get some layers, you get some layers, everybody's getting layers. And I thought that was great. I really liked the dynamic of the team. I felt their chemistry more, and I found their bond to be a lot more emotional and a lot more believable, even more than the bond of the Avengers, which is really strange because I've been seeing the Avengers for such a long time, and I've only spent 2 films with these guys. But I buy their relationship and I buy their connection more than I do any other characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This was actually a more emotional film than I thought it would be. And that was a good thing. There were also characters that didn't work for me in the first film that worked in this. A big example of this is Gamora and her sister Nebula. I didn't like them both in the first movie, but here they developed and I actually kind of liked them more. I actually didn't like Gamora in the first film, but she really grew on me here, and her relationship with Peter Quill really developed well, and I bought their chemistry and I bought their bond. She got improved and all the characters got improved overall. And this is really where I think the film excelled, is in the fact that this film went deeper and did a lot more for its characters and for its emotional beats than the previous film did. However, I kind of see the flaws that are in it and I understand why some people might not like it as much as I do, and I get the criticism that this movie will get. So let's start by talking about the top 3 things that I didn't like about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Number 3, the humor. I'm not saying that this movie is not funny, don't panic. This movie is hilarious. I enjoyed it, I laughed my ass off. However, sometimes I felt like the movie went a little too far with the humor, as if it tried too hard to be funny, and sometimes that worked and sometimes it didn't. There were definite moments where jokes would be running for way too long and conversation would be happening and people would be joking and be like, come on guys, let's just move on from the joke and let's actually get to the action and get to the plot progression. Sometimes that took away from the film and made it weaker than it could have been. I mean, come on, these characters can have a conversation without it having 50 punchlines in a row. They can just talk, it's okay. The number 2 thing I didn't like was the villain. Surprise! As always, an MCU movies is weak when it comes to its villains. At least it's consistent, right? There really isn't much to say because I don't want to spoil about who's a bad guy and who's a good guy in this movie, but all in all, the villains in this film did not work for me at all. As always, they're pretty much an afterthought and their motivations are not very clear, and it's just, okay, you're evil, you're doing evil things, good for you, bye. I really didn't like those gold people. What were they called? The saviors, servers? I don't know. These golden posh people who literally didn't need to be in the movie. They didn't need to be chasing after the heroes. They were literally placed there like a plot device, plot ninjutsu. It was just put there, now they're gonna be chased by them. Oh, look, danger, so many spaceships. Pew, 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 pew. Kill you, we'll kill you. Oh, no, we can't kill you. Now we're gonna disappear. And then the movie goes on and things are happening. And then, they show up again. Pew, pew, pew. We're gonna kill you. We're not gonna kill you. Ships disappear. It was really annoying and it didn't work for me and it felt forced and it did not flow well with the story and I did not like it. So, again, villains didn't work in this movie. The number one thing I didn't like about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was the lack of story focus. The biggest flaw that this movie suffers from is that it has an unfocused plot. There isn't really a specific trajectory or story or journey that the characters are on. For the first 45 minutes of the film, it's pretty much they're going from here to there. A lot of jokes are happening, a lot of situations, some fight scenes, some action sequences, some comedy, some moments, but that's it. There isn't anything really that encompasses the whole thing into one storyline. The difference here being in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, you had the MacGuffin, you had the actual Infinity Stone that they had to sell, and then when they found out it was too powerful, then they decided to hide it from the evil people who wanted it, and so on. They had like a clear objective, but here they didn't, so the film kind of felt a little messy in the beginning and a little all over the place, and that gave it a little bit of plot issues and also some pacing issues. In the middle of the film, they actually stumble upon their story and they stumble upon their actual objective. Yeah, the most important thing about this movie is them discovering themselves and their relationships with each other, but that's not enough to carry an entire film, so you don't feel like you're on a journey. You feel like you're watching things just unfold and happen at random sometimes. Basically, if I pause the movie at the 45-minute mark and I tell you, what is this movie about? You won't know. At the end of it, you'll be like, oh, in hindsight, it was about this and it was about that and this theme was there, and in the end, they kind of had to do this and this and that. And that, I think, is a big flaw in the movie, and it brought it down from being the amazing film that I think it could have been. But all in all, I thought this movie did a lot of great things. It had some flaws, it faltered on a few points here and there, but generally I thought it was a great sequel and I enjoyed it a lot. Even with its flaws and even with its problems, it's just so much fun and it's really funny. And I had such a great time and I cannot wait to watch it again. So I'm going to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 an 8 out of 10. So what do you think of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? Did you like it? Do you agree or disagree with me? Let me know in the comment section, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to ask me for anything you'd like me to review for you next. See ya!